we only have 2,200 customers in our service area.
Oh, I thought it was 5,000.
No, see, if you got that offline, then it was wrong.
Okay.
So that's number one. Number two,
I get it, economy of scale.
I'm pretty sure, right, when, if we had 10,000 customers, then it would be substantially less. So the burden is carried much more so by a smaller number. Number two, Corey, I know last year had a huge printout of where we fall versus other utilities. That wasn't pulled from Google, it was pulled straight from the Tennessee utility website. So,
I got a call into them, I'm waiting for them to respond,
Yeah.
because I asked for the same information.
and I want to say, because me and Corey have talked about your water bill on a couple different occasions, pretty sure there's a pretty good leak out there. Is that not right, Corey, or am I wrong?
Yeah, we've been working together
Okay.
probably the last month or so.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
But that's not the price per gallon. I mean, I'm looking at the price per gallon, not even talking about how much the flow is. I'm not even talking about my bill, I'm just talking about per gallon. Well, why is it so much higher than surrounding municipalities than, I mean, there were a lot of rural areas in around here, but why is it so much higher? I mean, are you guys, from what I understand, you guys are buying and selling to Morgan County or Roane County for, what is it, $1.57 per thousand or something like that? Isn't that the number?
We buy water from Anderson County Water Authority for $1.50 a thousand, then we resell it to them for $1.60. And we sell it to them at two places, Frost Bottom and then on Woodcutters subdivision.
But that's
And that's wholesale.
yeah, I mean, that's 100% markup. I mean, I just don't understand how the other counties are able to operate and service their customers, and we are 3 times higher. I mean, it just doesn't.
I've been down there since 1985. I've got seniority. My father was on the Water Commission and the chairman of the Waterboard for a number of years, so I grew up in this town. And we got water out of Bacon Springs years ago with no water plant. And it rained, the water was muddy. And you ran a bathtub full of water, the head was colored, brown. But the good thing about it was clean mud. So mother didn't wash clothes when that happened either. And so I've got a lot of inherent knowledge. There's a problem that a lot of people don't see, and that's called TDEC, which is Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation and the Environmental Protection Agency. And since I've been on the Water Board since 1985, every year, every 2 years, they make the qualifications, the environmental rules and regulations for the operation of the water plants and so on, tighter. And we have to comply, period. TDEC audits us from time to time, the water department, sewer department. They come in and they say, this is what your rate's going to be. And although this council, this water department votes on it, TDEC is looking over our shoulder and says, if you don't set the rates at this level, we'll take it over and we'll set it. So what is hidden in the background is the environmental rules and regulations lurking over our shoulder. We currently have a high water loss, and our mayor and water people are trying to reduce it. And one of the reasons we have high water loss is a lot of these lines were put in the 1930s by the CCC. Some of them were built in the 50s and 60s during the subdivision explosions out in Norwood and so on. And we have, 52 miles of water line, a huge length, and it takes $1 million a mile to replace it. So, and I know that doesn't
$1 million a mile?
Do what?
$1 million a mile.
I would defer
If you're looking probably 7 or 8 years ago, you could install an engineer turnkey project for about $45 a foot. That's about $92 a foot now. So I mean, it's a drastically
Because
low.
Steve, you have to have the plans designed by engineers. You send them to Nashville to TDEC people, and they have to prove it, and you send it back, and then you build it. And then you have to have as-built plans sent to Nashville and approved. And see, that's a bureaucratic,
Sure.
so forth and so on. And so I'm certainly sympathetic, but at the same time, the environmental rules and regulations are great, but they come at a huge cost.
And I understand, I mean, for 35 years, that was my world. I used to do land development and build. I mean, I built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lots in countless neighborhoods, and built multiple neighborhoods, and probably built 1,000 houses in Atlanta. And I kind of understand the pricing and how much it's going to cost me to put in storm curb, water, sewer, and I get it. But some of these prices, it just seems astronomical. I mean, I'm having a hard time getting my hands around how much this water is actually costing here.
The state every year mandates us to do a water rate increase. It's not that we want to, the state says you will raise your water rates every July 1, either 3%
Based on the consumer
or whatever the
price
consumer
index.
price index is for that physical year. That's what you've got to raise your water rates to. I mean, our hands are tied. We have to do what they tell us to, or we get fined. And
So when you guys came in and put all the meters in, I guess, in last March, was there a one-time assessment applied to each homeowner for that? Or was that just something you guys
It was a
sucked
grant.
up and,
It was a grant, it was a $1.1 million federal grant that was given to the town because
But see,
our water
that's-
loss rate was 78%. Right now, it's about 52%. We were the second worst in the state. Right now, we're about middle of the pack in the state. So, I mean, I can sit here and lollygag with excuse after excuse after excuse. The bottom line is, it comes down to years of unfortunate mismanagement. It comes down to the fact that we don't have a very large customer base.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the fact that we have to comply with the state of Tennessee. And if we had 10,000 customers, it wouldn't be what it is.
is there any relief in the future?
No,
It's just gonna get worse.
Well, we had to replace the plant.
that's true, we
We had to
did.
rebuild the
And we
plant.
did have to rebuild our
We
sewer
paid for
plant,
that.
which that mayor right there
Well-
graciously oversaw. It was about $8 million. And,
So we have debt.
yeah.
We're having to
eat.
pay off.
So when that debt is finally paid off, will that eventually go back to the consumer or in a price adjustment or not?
I mean,
It's gonna
they're,
be years before that.
When that's paid off, we'll have to spend X
We'll be-
twice that much to build it back again, come into compliance.
Are we having to battle the galvanized pipe replacement now that it's eased off?
yeah.
You have still galvanized pipe here?
Oh, yeah, we have miles of galvanized pipe.
There's, what, 650s, mid-50s or something? Yeah, it's
Tell you
eased
what I've
off.
got for you, and I'll make you copies of all this stuff. We've got a rate study, compares the water rates of all the utilities across the state. And I've got another one from East Tennessee Development District. I've got one the mayor was talking about, kind of isolated this area where neighboring the utilities. We also just had a rate study completed by a third party, Jackson Thornton, based off of our 21-22 data. We're fixing to have 2 more rate studies done as well. So I'll get you copies of all this stuff. If you've got time.
And the
I was just more curious to see if there was an answer for the problem. I didn't know if I was not aware that, oh yeah, well, we had to do an adjustment because we had to build a $10 million plant and eventually the prices are going to go down. I'm just wondering if in the future we're going to feel any relief, but
And
that's not what we
so,
are.
and I'll say
Not in the
this,
near future.
not in the near future.
Unless we have an explosion of growth.
Yeah, right. And I'll say this, and this is no reflection on the previous administration. Their hands were tied in respect to COVID and COVID restrictions because they could not turn the water off to the customer who didn't pay.
Sure.
Rate racked up over $400,000 in bad debt that we had to just, we basically just had to write off. And so when we did that, I became mayor 2 years ago. Most of the people, well, to my right on this council took 2 years ago, and it's been a tough road to hoe. And it's unfortunate. I hate it. I wish it were not the way it is, but unless we have 1,000 new homes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So,
I'll get it for you.
Mayor, update real quick. This week alone, I personally checked 4 meters, trying to help customers, understand if they have a leak, what to look for. With that being said, the new meters, we don't have our site stations completely set up yet. So when they do, what I'm getting ready to say is it will be even better. But like right now, we can tell when you do the monthly checks, who has a water leak, if the water leak's on our side of the meter or the customer side of the meter. And last week, I think there was a list of 10 customers that had leaks at their house that we contacted them, let them know, hey, you have a leak. So, but as this data becomes more streamlined, because where collector sites or our Bluetooth sites are set up, then that'll be real-time data, and then we can automatically contact each and every individual that we know has a leak. And so we can be more proactive in trying to continue to reduce our water loss, continue to reduce high water bills and for folks, because that's what we want to do. We want to be proactive, not reactive. So all that being said, Corey.
Kind of off what you just said, the new water meter project, you've got a total of 2,206 active accounts. Your current meters installed are 2,102. That means there's remaining 104 meters. Contractor will be on site February 10th, and they're not leaving until they get the job complete. Your collector sites, which you mentioned earlier, there's been 2 installed, one on the top of Cove Road tank and one at the cell tower. It's actually on our tower above Richard's tank. That means there's 3 remaining sites. We're waiting on getting the final permission from the cell tower providers or the owners of those. One of the remaining sites will be installed in the city of Oak Ridge Tower off of West Outer Drive. One will be toward the end of Old Harriman Highway here on the cell tower, and the third one we've not decided yet. So when we've done the kind of the propagation study of coverage of the collector sites, Dutch Valley was the kind of the outlier where we were lacking coverage. So the number 5, we're either going to install on Smith Road or the new cell tower off Marlow Extension. So once we get all of these installed, Core and Main will have to come back and kind of activate the meters that are installed. Currently, they're set up as AMRs. They'll have to come back and activate those as an AMI, meaning you can read them either by the tablet or off the collector sites, meaning you read from the office here. The water plant, no violations for January. Your January state reports were signed. I've signed those today. They'll be submitted tomorrow. Distribution, water loss is right at 54% right now. December, your sales was down to like 7.1 million. This past month, they were up to 7.6 million. Now, keep in mind, we should be averaging around 9.5 to 10.5 million in sales per month. So there's some still issues there we've got to work through. Yesterday, we had the office closed for an in-service. We had heat with local government come in and spent most of the day with Deborah. Kind of the questions we've kind of had all along. The answers we've got, or questions we had was, how can the customers log in to view their bills? Right now, you can't currently do that. Plus, the ability to accept ACH payments and the ability to receive bills by email. So we got those questions answered yesterday. So with local government, customers can now view their bills online through the Citizens Portal. The Citizens Portal will be reestablished probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So what our customers have to do is go in and create an account on Citizens Portal. They can begin receiving their bills by email or mail or both, and then view the bills online. So right now they can't view their entire bill history, but they can find out what their current bill and usage is. So that's one of the answers to those questions. The other would be same account on Citizens Portal. Again, they enter an email address, they can start receiving the bills by email. Also, through local government, the ability to accept ACH bill payments. One thing we're waiting on is Heath is working with our one bank, so we're waiting on the bank to verify the charges. So I think in the past they said it's estimated to be between 5 cents and 30 cents per customer for those ACH payments. So that's kind of a no-brainer to get this set up doing that. We've ordered a new Citizens Portal credit card machine. The charge will now be set up at 2.5%. Currently, it's at $4.95. So if somebody comes in with a $30 bill, pays with a credit card, they're charged $4.95. If somebody comes in with a $500 water bill, they're charged at $4.95. So what this does, it goes back, charges, just a 2.5% fee. So again, personally, it's kind of more fair that way. Majority of your bills are, again, your minimum bills, fixed income people, so this kind of helps them out. One thing we'll get to when we get to the payment of the garage building, we're closing your 2 accounts at Regions Bank, and here's how we're going to pay for that building. You've got a loan repayment account that's currently got $38,200.50 in it. And you've got a Oliver Springs Grant Fund account that currently has $110,252.60. Total in both those accounts, you've got $148,453.10. So you're going to be able to pay the garage building plus put roughly $60,000 in your government investment pool, which last time I checked, it was drawing about 4.8%. So you're starting to build back your reserves a little sooner than we thought. That's all I've got at the moment.
Hey, Corey, real quick.
Yes, sir.
On that portal, can we put on the back of the bill, I know there's a place that we can line item some stuff. Can we put that on there so everybody can know? I don't know what would be the,
So it's kind of limited what we can put on the back of those postcard bills.
Right.
And we kind of got word today that the post office may quit accepting these postcard bills. So one thing we're looking at is possibly just outsourcing the billing, kind of a third party to it. So we just kind of found out about this today. I don't know how far out that is, but I think it's something we'll look at.
well, thank you, sir. Mr. Miller?
Yes, sir. I had a question about what we're going to talk about here in a minute, this ARCA grant,
Yes,
the Appalachian Regional Commission grant.
yes.
The best I read this thing, they're going to do a $250,000 and we got to match that $250,000.
So your Appalachian Region grants, they bumped up to 500,000. So we could apply for 500,000, but we would have to try to match 500,000.
Right.
So we've cut that back to projects we could probably try to afford. So if we apply for this ARC grant in March, you're probably not getting the money until about next March or April of 2026, meaning this project's going to go over 2 budget cycles. So you're going to try to come up with $125,000 for this next budget cycle, being 25-26, and then $125,000 for 26-27. So it's going to go over, like I said, 2 different budget cycles.
So that money's got to come out of the utility side.
Correct. Currently in your budget, you've got capital projects that you were trying to do in-house anyway, your service line replacements. And I think we're going to be doing some main line replacements. So that's where instead of you doing your capital project in-house, you're going to be doing stuff through your grants. You're just basically doubling your money.
But how do we figure on making $125,000 a year off the utilities that we can,
Without raising the rates.
without raising,
Yeah.
without putting the rates through the roof, I mean, on the water and the sewer both?
So currently, and I don't have the spreadsheets with me right now, I think our total capital projects for last year might have been over 300,000. And that would have included service line replacements. That we did include some of the grants, but there was a vehicle actuator rounds at the water plant. Seems like there was something else at the sewer plant we were trying to do in-house.
We do the SCADA?
The SCADA was included in that for the sewer. I think that was 37,000. So a majority of your capital is going to be done through, basically you're doubling your money.
So,
And you don't have to, we don't have to vote to do this. Kind of my recommendation. You've not applied for ARC grant, I think, about 5 years. And we applied last year, the scorecard didn't meet high enough, so they contacted us in November and said, hey, go ahead and apply for this next budget cycle, you'll get approved for this if you want to do these projects.
it's a 50-50 grant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I still don't see where we're gonna come up with $250,000 in 2 years to match that unless we jack the water and the sewer rates through the ceiling. I mean, because we barely break even every year. Let alone have 125,000 surplus every year.
Where do you think the money would come from, Corey? Where do you see getting $125,000 for 2 years?
So you're
That would be 125,000 a year for 2
For
years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be an issue because, I mean, you're trending toward, I think, 546,000 this year. Now, keep in mind, there's about 460,000 depreciation there. So, I mean, if I didn't think it was doable, I wouldn't even bring it before council. Now, a lot of this project, while we're talking about, let's look at what the projects are. So, sheet number, I guess it'd be sheet A, section A, project description. Proposed includes a rehabilitation construction of 3,880 linear feet of 6-inch class 200 PVC water pipe, 2 fire hydrants, 33 water service reconnections of various purposes. And this would be to do areas along downtown area on Front Street, Wall Circle, and then stay about 61 or west of Mardell, which that would be West Tri-County Boulevard. If you look at section D, actually, let's just go to the charts, table 2. So this would be Tri-County Boulevard, West Tri-County, from Pardell Road to south of Hill Circle, it's 6-inch, class 200 PVC water line, there's 1,320 foot. Currently, you've got a 2-inch water line that runs right down the center of the 4-lane. So what this project would do would be install the 6-inch, you're upsizing your line, you gain volume and pressure on your lower end, where you currently have slight pressure issues, but you also get your water line out from the middle of the 4-lane. Table 3 is 1,320 foot of 6-inch on Cox Circle to Windrock Road. This is kind of a precursor for moving your Cove Road pump station back from the top of the hill down to where it should be anyway. Currently, you have problems at your Cove Road pump station with your suction pressure on your pumps. So if you get less than 12, 13 foot in Richard's tank, you lose water pressure up at the Cove tank. Basically, you can't keep running the pumps. They'll get airlocked. By moving that pump station down closer to Green Street, kind of the property we used to own, where the house kind of fell in, somewhere in that area right there. This pipe right here will allow you to put a bypass in down Cox Circle, feed back into Windrock, and then you'd be able to do away with the pump station that currently feeds the campground at Windrock. So you'd be able to feed Windrock from the Cove tank and Richard's tank. It's just kind of a redundancy there. This also sets the table if there's any type of development up at the bottom of the mountain for Windrock. You've got everything in place for that. Table 4, Rome Street from Estabrook Avenue to Winter Gap Road. You currently have a 2-inch galvanized water line that runs that section. This would be installing 640 foot of 6-inch class 200 PVC pipe. Again, the issues with the galvanized pipe in the system, this is replacing that section. Table 5 is Wall Circle. This is a problem area where we've had numerous leaks. This would be installing, again, 600 foot of 6-inch class 200 PVC pipe. This Wall Circle is a trailer park off of Airport Road. Again, numerous leaks. You've got a lot of your service tubings that are under trailers now. So again, you're fixing one of your major issues. Your last 3 pages are the maps of these areas.
Where's the Ridgey and Ray Drive project at?
That's under a CDBG project. And that, the CDB money will be available for this stuff here.
So this is all under the $500,000.
It is. It is.
How much just can we do in-house?
I mean, you run into a staffing issue there. I mean, you're pretty much limited out with, I mean, the amount of leaks you got, and what we'd rather do in-house would be service line replacements. Kind of where we started the service line replacement project on Sleepy Hollow. We'd like for our staff to go ahead and kind of get the other side of the road, which would be, the project we done earlier was replacing the service lines on the same side as the main line, so your short sides. What's remaining would be your long runs, meaning you'd have to pull a tube in from the main line side to the, across the road to the other houses.
You know about what that cost us?
Not right offhand, I gotta tell you right off. I would say it was probably less. It was probably less than 25.
To do all those service lines up
Yeah.
through there?
Yeah.
That's all I've got, sir.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Bass.
Same thing, everybody's all contact me about the water, I told them, gotta come down, world, before we could give them the explanation on how that meter works and how it will benefit them. That's, if anybody has any issues, but he's a world of information on that new meter. He can show you how it works, show you your property, show you your water loss, pull it up, show you when you use it the most, use it less, and explain to you how it works. And that's about all I have for now.
Thank you, Mr. Bass. Ms. Van Hook.
I don't know how things are going for Deborah at the water department. Have we hired, she doesn't have help yet,
We
right?
have not, and then Wendy and myself have kind of spent the last 3 weeks in there with her. It's been busy.
I'm sure.
It's been busy.
Do you have any qualified candidates yet that you're looking at?
We've talked to, I think, 4. I mean, this is kind of priority now. I mean, we're gonna have to look at, one, your customer service for that office, and, I mean, really that utility director position. So, I mean, that's kind of the priority right now is getting a customer service office worker in there.
It
And
would help
that's,
all of you, wouldn't it?
do I?
It would help all of you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's probably something we'll probably try to get on the sooner the better, so probably next week. But if you do have, if there's anybody else that's interested in that, you can go online, the Olive Springs, and down the Olive Springs website, under employment, there's a place for applications. I'll get those applications emailed to you. That, or contact the office, come see me, if anybody's interested in that, or if y'all have anybody.
Second thing I had was, I know it might seem a little early, but under the circumstances, I really don't think it is. I think we ought to start our budget workshops earlier this year.
Yes.
I think, I mean, we're already into February. I would like to see us start, at least by early March.
Yeah.
Early March. Let's have that first budget workshop.
So one thing we're waiting on right now, I talked to the mayor about this earlier this week. You should be receiving your on the general side, your reappraisals for this past year. So we should be seeing those ratios come in any time now. So this would be the time you'll look at your property tax rate. I know this is the water side, but we'll need to reassess what our property tax rate is. You will get a ratio that shows what that, to maintain your current revenues, what it should be adjusted to. If you do want to adjust your and certify a higher tax rate, then we'll have to have a couple of public meetings for that. So,
I just don't want us to, I want this done this year
yeah,
before,
yeah.
I want it done by June 30th.
Yeah.
Let's be ready to roll into the next year with the budget passed.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've been fighting fire as long as I've been on here, and it's nobody's fault. We just inherited issues that had to be dealt with. But I would like to see us get on with this budget in a timely way.
Yeah.
Thank
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Van Hook. Mr. Hall.
Toward the Kingston, where they fixed that water leak, that sidewalks tore up.
Yes.
It's a big old slab, is that something they're gonna try to flatten back out and set?
What about Reed? Is this the one
Right behind
right by the
the
police station?
Police station.
Okay.
The big, one piece is probably
bad.
10 foot long.
Yeah.
So I did talk to a contractor this afternoon, a local guy, about coming and dressing up yards. Situations like this would be perfect. Where we've had leaks in people's yards, cut driveways up, contractors come in and do all the dress up jobs. I mean, this would be something that he could do.
Because that's with one of the better sidewalks and it looked horrible.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
kind of like Kingston, Rome Street, when we do that one repair Robert's talking about, like in front of First Baptist, that looks still brand new. Now we're going to destroy that. So we got plans to replace it as we go, as we
So
maybe repair or.
So if you did decide to do this project, then yeah, then absolutely everything would be
Yeah,
repaired.
that'd be figured out.
Yes.
What's it's our last meeting, we had what is the drop dead date to get those meters in? You didn't know the last meeting.
So I think the project run 365 days. You're getting to the end of it right now. They've applied for an extension, and normally you wouldn't go along with this, but it was kind of our issue too. The issue was with, when you ordered this project, you ordered, I think, maybe 2,200 3/4-inch meters. Well, come to find out, you have about 935 half-inch meters. So blame kind of lays on us, as well as them not having the contract in here to finish it, so kind of mutual.
So there is a hope for like an extension, keep us a good time or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and, have we got any drawings, anything from engineering services for all that other stuff?
We have not yet, and I'd actually talked to Brian this morning. He's supposed to be getting with me next week to kind of final everything out. So we've still not sent the letter that, hey, we're wanting to end that contract.
Oh, okay.
So he said, listen, he told me to contact me earlier this week, but this morning he said, we'll talk next week about what you need to submit to us. Then you'll have a certain amount of time to pay that, the
Oh,
$44,000.
it's still early then.
Yeah, it is. It's real early, yeah.
All right, so.
Okay, Mr. Hall, Mr. Mayor?
The only thing I've got is utility director. Corey, are you on the search for that to get you some relief?
Yeah, somewhat. Me and the mayor's talked to, I guess we talked to 3 people. One we've kind of set our sights on. So, I mean, I'd like to follow up a meeting. I shot him a text this morning as well. So you probably didn't know that one.
I did not.
So that's something that we've got to narrow down to probably one on that.
Hopefully do that this week, maybe.
Hopefully do that sooner. Yeah, sooner better.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any old business at this time? New business, which we've already discussed quite a bit. Resolution number 2025-02-06, the Appalachian Regional Commission grant for the purpose of funding water system improvement projects for the town of Oliver Springs. Corey?
So guys, you don't have to improve this. I mean, you're out on probably 4 other water line projects now. And I mean, we're in a position now where we're able to put some money back in reserve too, as well as do some of these projects. And again, I mean, if you could double your money here, and basically just use 250,000 yours, I mean, it's projects that need to be done. This is your problem with water loss. I mean, this would probably satisfy, your comptroller and your TBOUR board. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, is it something that you want to commit 250,000 to at this point? I mean, this is something I would recommend, but I mean, certainly this is a board decision here.
This is just an application.
It is, yeah.
We basically be voting to
apply.
to apply for this grant, to authorize you to apply. We could still decline it if we got it.
You could. So your pre-application, and which is very vague, was submitted again 1st of December. And this was the next step. Hey, here's your resolution here to further.
Well, my
submit an
thoughts are to
application.
go ahead and approve to let you go ahead and apply for the grant. And that's another reason I'm saying, let's get on with this budget process.
Yeah.
Because we need to look at the budget, close while this grant is going through process, we can figure out what our finances are going to look like.
Right, so you're probably looking, okay, you submit the application, I think they're gonna be submitted by like March the 3rd.
So see, if we go ahead and apply for it, we're not obligated to accept it. But in the meantime, we're looking to see where we can come up with it. I'm just like, I'm right on the page with Robert, you know, we gotta have $250,000, you know, over 2 years, or we can't accept this grant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the bottom line.
Yeah, it may be June or July before you hear anything from your application.
Well, by then we should have we will have gone through the process and we should know, we should have a real good feeling by then
Right.
where we're going to be standing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in favor of going ahead and applying for it because we don't have anything to lose, really, by applying for it. We can always decline it.
I agree.
You okay with it?
Yeah. All right, so is that an official motion?
I make the motion that we approve, that we actually authorize our city manager to apply for this grant.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Van Hook, we have a second.
I'll say.
Second by Mr. Bass. Any further discussion? Roll call, Bill.
Robert Miller,
Pass.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Lisa Van Hook,
Yes.
Terry Hogg,
Yes.
Becky Lane.
Yes.
Passes 5-0, that's one.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. Discuss the shop building invoice.
So in your package, you have the request for payment, so this would be the invoice.
I noticed they notarized that. Did you notice that? That point at the bottom?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The invoice, or yeah, you received the invoice for the garage, new shed at the garage. Original contract amount is $125,960. Now, what the second page that I handed out, it's got the highlighted. Again, your total is $125,960. My recommendation is you split that 70-30, meaning 70% of that garage goes to the water department and 30% would go to the general fund. If you look at how you want to pay for that, again, you've got your two regions bank accounts that, one, you're seeing there, you know, they're taking bank charges out of those accounts. We don't use those accounts. We want to close those accounts out, which we had talked about this before, about doing this. And using that portion for the $88,172 from the water part, and then $37,788 would come out of the general fund. And I spoke with Ramona earlier today, and she was kind of in agreement with Ramona here. I spoke with Ramona about splitting the 70-30, and which I told her the other day, it's probably gonna be around $40,000 on the general fund, and she was in agreement with that.
I'll make the motion, we pay it 70-30.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
That's your recommendation for it?
It is, yes.
Second.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Bass. Okay. Second by Ms. Van Hook.
Okay. Is that to pay the 98,961 or 125,960?
$125,960.
Any further discussion?
Are they, from the bottom down here, are they going to, on the first page of that, request for payment, says remaining contract to bill 26,999. Are they gonna bill us two separate?
You're just gonna pay the total, just outright.
Just pay everything outright at one time and be done with it?
Yeah,
And get away from them.
yeah. So you'll still have your remaining contract. Now, that was the 43,000. That's what you'll end up just split 50/50. You kind of get creative with this side about usage of the actual building.
Right.
Where the other, you're gonna split it at 50/50 general fund, 50 for the water fund.
We're gonna get all our draws, everything, we'll get that.
The leak survey, like the drone leak detection
Right.
stuff, you're getting that file correct.
Okay. Well, we'll get everything that they've agreed to in the,
Yeah.
in the agreement.
All right. Motion, second. Any further discussion? Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass.
Yes.
Lisa Van Hook.
Yes.
Terry Holland.
Yes.
Becky Glenn.
Yes.
All right, motion to adjourn?
So move.
Call the Town of Oliver Springs City Council to order for February 6th. Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Here.
Jeff Bass.
Here.
Charlie Bailey. Lisa Van Hook.
Here.
Terry Holland.
Here.
Becky Glenn.
Here.
Since you have a quorum.
All right, Mr. Joe, you lead us in word of prayer.
Our Father, we come to you tonight thanking you for the many blessings of life and liberty and freedom that we have. With all these blessings and the responsibility that we must seek you and seek how you're working and join you in your work. We pray that we can do exactly that. We pray for wisdom that comes through the Holy Spirit, and your wisdom is supreme and perfect. We pray that we can implement that. We pray for the families of this community when many folks have illnesses and many folks have passed away. Too many to mention at times. We just pray that you would touch those families and let them know that your mighty and great and wise hand is going every step of the way, and that life and death and our service to you is all according to your great plan. We pray for all the problems in the world, the war in Ukraine and the problems in the Middle East with Israel and the nations around her, all the problems of our country. We pray that the Holy Spirit would enter into the hearts of all involved, where that peace could be restored once again in this world, and the world would see how great and mighty and powerful you are. We ask all these things in thy Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 16th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion by Mr. Bass, second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion?
I got one thing, Joe. Comments from citizens, it's Rick Chin, not Peter. Rick Chin instead of Peter.
How do you spell it?
R-I-C-K.
R-I-C-K.
I'm terrible with names, but it's worse.
Any more discussion? Any changes or notations anyway? Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller.
Yes.
Jeff Bass.
Yes.
Lisa Van Hook.
Yes.
Terry Holland.
Yes.
Becky Glenn.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Joe. This time, if there's any citizen who would like to come forward, please state your name at the podium and your item of business. Ms. Jessica.
That's
But-
good.
So before you start,
Uh-huh.
may I ask, what, is it the numbers?
I got them if you would like
Okay,
them.
well, I want to share them if you don't. So, okay. Go ahead.
So, I'm Jessica Patterson. I'm with the library here in town. I just wanted to talk about summer reading. I'm planning on having a summer reading program for June and July, and would love to try and have a kickoff around May the 31st, sort of just a town event to get everybody together
Awesome.
for that. So I'm needing volunteers or donations for prizes for patrons that sort of meet their reading goal for the week. If anybody would like to come and help the library,
Okay.
I'd appreciate it.
When's that again?
It'll be, the program is June and July with kickoff on May the 31st.
Okay.
I'm still working details out of what time and what I'll do on the 31st.
Okay.
And so you were looking for numbers.
Well, so let me so I asked Miss Jessica, right? So kind of give us, obviously the goal was to rejuvenate and revive the library, right? I mean, we made Cecil, myself, and Corey. Just share with us the numbers. This is staggering.
So the year 2023, we had 625 visitors. The year 2024, 402. And so far this year, we have over 2,500 that have visited the library. So,
And that's just since June the 1st, is that right?
yes.
June 1st. So until I think it was the middle of January when she crunched those numbers. So we still have 4 or 5 months to go.
That's
So
awesome.
that really is, that's incredible. So,
And I would just let people know some current events that I have going on at the library. I have on Fridays, I have adult eating smart and moving more. And I have through the week, I have homeschool classes that you can join. And I've got crochet and Girl Scout troops that are coming to join the library also.
now, when is the crochet? I was asked by a lady yesterday.
It's going to be February the 26th at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
And if anybody ever needs a meeting space, I can see up to 20 people in the library, so they're more than welcome to come and just let me know ahead of time if they need room.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, she's our librarian, so absolutely. That's just incredible. And so we're looking forward to, more to come, right? So thank you so much. So my update, real quick. Just thankful again to be mayor, thankful to serve with these folks up here and, trying to diligently work through problems and seek solutions to those problems. I mean, nothing really to the front and center, but, last week, me and Mr. Miller rode through the town and, we're looking at issues and hopefully my goal is every one of these council members in the coming weeks that we drive through the town, looking to identify what the problems are and then to address those problems. Again, I thoroughly enjoy working with you guys. I thoroughly enjoy serving this community and look forward to this year and what this year holds. And so with that, Corey.
Don't have a lot. Spring cleanup will be March the 3rd. I think it runs through April the 4th. That note was on the back of the water bills this month. The 2 speed tables have been installed on Norwood Drive. They were installed this past week.
Believe this or not, I had somebody reach out today and ask if we could install another one. That's serious.
On a different road.
Yes, on a different road.
So we know that's,
Yeah. And there might be some complaints. I haven't heard any yet, and that's very atypical because I usually hear them pretty quick.
so there is a process in place if residents on a certain road will need a speed table involved. They'll just contact City Hall, we'll kind of point them in the right direction.
Well, remind me again, Corey, what was, is it 80%?
I'll say it's 75.
75% of the residents on the street
Yes,
have to sign the petition
correct.
in
Correct.
order for it to be considered.
And then present the petition to council.
Okay.
The other thing, we spent kind of some of the last meeting talking about event planner. I spoke with Lauren Lephew, and I believe Lauren Lephew is here. I'm going to ask her to come up. So again, a lot of our events that we've had over the years, our big thing is we don't want to lose what we've gained. So we've talked about needing an event planner in place. I know Miss Charlie's not here, and we've spent, numerous calls with Charlie about kind of what her plans are, what she was wanting, but kind of the same thing with Lauren. So I'd like to just ask her to kind of present her thoughts, just kind of introduce herself. Thank you.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lauren Ledby. I live in this community. I was raised in this community. My mom was been a teacher at Norwood for 28 years. Yeah, I know, it's been a long time. She's ready to retire. But so I was born and raised here. I also have littles that are going to be raised up in this community. And my goal is basically to have a community where people are like, wow, like I wish my community was that involved with each other and was so involved and just good for the kids. Because growing up, we didn't really have a lot of events that were where kids could gather at a safe place, and there would be free school supplies like the back to school parties, or like the trunk or treat event that I did. I hosted that at the Arrowhead Park, and we were estimating probably 200 to 300 kids, ended up having 500 kids. And that was all around the community, which was absolutely fantastic and blew us out of the water. I was also co-chair with Bailey, or Charlie Bailey, for the Christmas event, and that also clearly was a huge success, and we're hoping to make it an even bigger success next year. And we also I've also done vendor events where we have small businesses come and set up food trucks and everything like that, that kind of get small businesses out there, because I'm all about supporting local, because it's all about the community that you are raised in and grow up in that keeps your town going. But that is my whole goal, is to make a place where the community has a place to go, the kids have a place to go, they have a safe place, and they have fun, because that's what kids are all about, is having fun.
It is. Kind of a little background with Lauren. Let me back up and say, and I didn't realize this when I became mayor, but I had quickly found out that obviously we're one city, we're 3 counties, and you have Norwood, you have Kellytown, and you have Tuckertown. And when I say it's very fractional, it is very fractional in this town. It just is. And having community events breaks that fractional down. Having a library breaks that fractional. Like when I look at Cofield and you see their hashtag One Heartbeat, like, listen, man, that's a community. Like they'll fight you. They'll fight you, right? They're tight, and that's what I have wanted to try to implement here in Oliver Springs, is very community minded. We tear down those walls, we build those bridges, and we may be 3 counties, we may be 3 distinct kind of little regions, but we're one city.
And I can promise you, adding to that, the events that I have hosted here in the town, you would be completely surprised at the people willing to do like sponsorships,
Yes.
because all of the events that we have had have been free.
Yes.
And let me just make that note, it has been free to the public.
Yes.
We have, gotten sponsorships, money donated, people in the community donated, and that's what we were all about, was having it free, because, like you said, we're very divided as a community, and we are a very low economic community. And I have seen that firsthand, especially with my mom being a school teacher. She would come home some days and be like, hey, there's a kid at school, that needs clothes. I need you to go clean out your closet. Give me what you don't wear, and I need you to give it to me. So, understand that completely. And so that's why I wanted to make everything free and just fun for all families and not just kids, parents too. So,
And so I reached out to Lauren. I think you hosted an event back over the summer. Was it June, July?
I think it was in June, the vendor event.
Yep. And so, I came down and supported, and then talked to her after the fact about, because we don't have a community event coordinator. I don't know that we've ever had a community event coordinator, ever. And she's like, hey, I'm willing to do this for free of charge. And then, Charlie jumped on board as well to help, which is, again, that's incredible, because that's what we're trying to build, is a sense of community, a sense of serving, right? So here she is before you now, and again, thank you. So, Corey, where do we go?
So kind of last meeting, we were talking about, I think some of the members were asking about forming a committee, like an event committee or a group of people with maybe Lauren and even Charlie, kind of even co-chair possibly. So I don't know if y'all had just open up a discussion for this, kind of however y'all want to go with that.
They did such a good job together for Christmas.
Thank you.
And I just think that maybe we put the two of them together, and I don't know that, I've thought about this. I don't know that we need to form a committee per se.
Yeah.
I'm thinking turn the two of them loose. And if they want a committee, then they can come back
See,
to us.
with each event, like the Christmas event and the Halloween event, I had different people that I reached out to.
Exactly.
I didn't have the same, there were, similar people that were within, the people that I talked to, like Heather Laxton, because, her husband's David Laxton. A lot of the small businesses in the area, that's the people that I like to reach out to, because those are the ones that are willing to, reach out and be like, hey, let me help, or hey, let me run a booth here, or hey, let me do this. So,
And I think the positive, and also a positive for council, is if it's she and Charlie, Charlie's got immediate contact with council. All she has to do is text us, and she's got all 8 of us
yes.
on a text. And so so if you guys need to communicate with us, Charlie can just
Yes.
pick up her phone and tell us whatever y'all are concerned about, or if you have a need, or if you've got a great idea, what do y'all think?
Yeah.
I think that the two of you together, just as the co-event committee or chairman, I don't care what we call them personally.
Kind of let them pick their own staff.
Pick your own name and pick your own
Yeah.
people that you want to work with at any given event. And then if you need our input, by all means.
And then
Send it to
maybe because obviously you heard us talk about budget, our budget workshop will be soon. Our new budget starts June 1st, and then hopefully find some funding for events.
Yeah.
I'm not talking tens of thousands of dollars, but if we could find some money,
Oh, yeah.
to help offset, because right now, pretty much it's all small business donations, all right? So, okay.
Would you feel like that would be a good thing, the two of you together would be kind of spearheading?
Oh, yeah. We work fantastically together, so I have no complaints on that.
I think that would be good, because you never know when somebody's going to get sick, and then you've still got somebody,
Yeah.
you've still got one person who can carry on.
Yeah.
So Joe, do we need a motion and a second to do this, or can we just kind of say, okay, as effective February the 6th, that, we now have this new position?
I think it can be done either way. And from the standpoint of the discussion, it appears that they want a loose, the two committee chairwomen want a loose organization because different people will come forward for different projects. Obviously, there'll be some people for all the projects, but, and if you had a formal, I'll say structured appointed committee, that could very well not be in the best interest as they try to work. So I would just let them get together. Rose Ingram had the Redbud Festival for many years. And to my knowledge, she was the chairwoman of that committee and the entire committee. And she just organized it and put it together for a number of years. And we have precedent with this type of loose but quite effective organization.
Okay.
Sometimes structure works against you.
It does, for sure. So, fair enough. Thank you.
And if they need anything, like you've got a mayor's fund that you can authorize spending up so much, several $100s, for funding, and there could be other funds that you could pull money out of for some kind of
Yeah.
event.
Good. Well, then let's just declare tonight that we now have an event coordinators, Lauren Lefew and Charlie Bailey, and so this is the first in our town's history. So it's a big night. So thank you, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Anything else, Mr. Jenkins?
We also talked at a little bit at the last council meeting about a beautification committee. So kind of the same situation, just kind of open discussion for, if, I don't know if you want to select like a chairman or something for that, open discussion for forming a beautification committee for the town of Baldwin Springs.
Mr. Laney, do you have anything? Put you on the spot here.
I'm just doing what I was asked.
Right, so let's put, when I became mayor, obviously I want our town to be beautiful. I want it to have color. That's the reason why we've undertaken the creek clean out. We've got daffodils we need, get in the ground, which that's a different sort of a different day. Anyways, so I'm not perfect, okay? I'll just tell everybody right now. So, but all that being said, Cecil's wife had approached me about starting a beautification committee, and I do have a lot of irons and a lot of fires. I mean, dad, husband, business owner, worker, mayor, and, unfortunately, didn't follow through. And now we want to follow through because we want our town to be beautiful, right? We want people to take pride in our town. And we want to continue, and when you can bring people on, whether it's 3 or 5 or, 10 that can help with that process, then, and it doesn't fall just on one person, then I think the community benefits. And I think that's what we're going for here, right?
Yes.
So to make sure that, we can identify areas that we can beautify and create an action plan and prosecute that plan. Execute, thank you. I'm not perfect, so execute that plan, right? And so I think that's what we're going for here, because we do, again, I think there's a lot of people that want to see the same thing that myself, Becky, and Mrs. Crow would like to see, right? So.
Well, maybe what we could do would be go back to Mrs. Crow and ask her if she has some people she would like to recommend.
I got one that I would love to recommend.
Okay.
My brother-in-law, Greg Steele.
Oh, come on now. Come on. I love it. Coming out strong. So,
Get your hands dirty, it's good for you.
there you go, right? Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Crow, would you ask your lovely wife to be here at the next meeting? And then we'll go ahead and then we'll put some more feet to this idea and we'll get this ball going forward. And Greg Steele can be the chairman. And we'll get it rolling. Again, I would love for it to take place. I do. I would. So, and then between now and then, we can have some discussion with Ms. Crow.
It would be good to give her a heads up, give her time to think about it.
Yes. So, all right, is that fair enough? Fair enough. All right, Court.
The last thing that I have was the map that I presented to you before the council.
TVA map?
It's a TVA map, and this, the blue is your TVA easement. This is a property that you have pretty much I guess your long-term permanent easements. The blue would be part of Arrowhead Park, your soccer field, kind of your Murray Drive area there, across from City Hall, and then the property's on the side of the hill over here, and then the red, pink is basically your creek and creek baits, which you currently own. The yellow highlighted would be where the old dollar store is, storage buildings. That's actually property of, I think that's the Browns.
It is.
And then you actually own, I guess, the parking lot, part of the parking lot in front of the old dollar store over here. Again, this is just something that me and the mayor had been talking through on some other issues, and I was just going to kind of informational, providing this while we had it out. That's all I have at the moment.
Yes, sir. Mr. Miller?
Me and Corey, question.
Yes, sir.
We need to talk about that. I got a few things, most of them. Chief's not here, is he?
He's not, he's on his way back from the Chiefs in-service meeting.
I'll be with him tomorrow, maybe. I was asked this, and I think we touched on this one time. I heard that our Airbnbs we got in town, they can be reappraised at a substantial.
It gets at the commercial,
appraisal.
not the residential.
Right, and it's like 40%.
It is.
What action do we need to take to have those that we have and all future ones?
This may be through the county.
Yeah.
Let me check into that. It was a fairly simple process, if I remember correctly. So let me check into that.
Yeah, because this is appraisal year.
Yeah. Please do check into that and let me know what you find out for it,
Okay.
please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can take action as soon as possible on that.
If I remember correctly, the council would have to take action. I think it may be, let me check into it before I take it right.
How would you regulate that in a volume? I mean, how would you even fathom that, how much business each Airbnb brings in? I mean, how would you do that?
You don't really, you know, so what we did, the planning commission basically just copied what other cities are doing. Like, so you have to like get a permit, right? And it's only like $50 or $100. It's just not a lot. And then you get registered, you know, obviously when we get sales tax off that, but then I don't know, we don't really monitor how much comes in.
So it's more of an impact fee.
It is, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, good call.
Mr. Mayor, what
Yes.
Mr. Miller is talking about is that if you have a house inside the city, that house is a residential property tax assessment, which is lower than a commercial property tax assessment. If the homeowner lists his house as an Airbnb where people come in and rent short-term rentals, say for the Windrock four-wheeling activities, then that becomes a commercial business. And instead of having a residential property tax assessment, you have a commercial property tax assessment, which would increase the property tax revenue, depending on the value of the property, you know, a few dollars to several $100s. The town does not have an income tax as such on businesses. It's prohibited by state law. There is a gross receipts tax, but that generally will collect about $35,000 to $40,000 in a strong economy for the town, and the state takes 15% of that for administration costs. So it's not a huge moneymaker, strictly speaking. If you had 10 Airbnbs, the property tax goes up by $200 for each one from residential to commercial, you get $2,000 more. That's $2,000 more than you had, but it's not like getting $200,000 more.
So it's a figure based on value of the
Yes.
property.
Yes.
It's not a one-time impact fee or fee.
It's every year.
Yeah.
And see, the property assessor will go in and value your property, say as a house for $200,000, and there's 3 or 4 different ways that you can actually figure a value of a house that I won't go into because it'll take a few minutes to explain it. But the state has formulas for property taxes that are used. And so you might have, say, a value of $200,000 for the house. The same house from a Airbnb might be valued at $300,000 because it's now business and it's generating $30,000 a year in revenue, 10% return values at $300,000. I'm not familiar with how the state values property like that because that's way outside of my practice of law, but that's generally how it works.
I wonder how that would affect homestead exemptions and stuff on people who declare it as being their primary residence.
Well, if it's their primary residence, they get a residential property tax rate.
Right.
So they couldn't go commercial.
Sir?
It couldn't be charged at a commercial rate then.
Not if you live there, no. But if you rent your house out, depending on how much you rent out, if you rent out one room, that's one thing. You rent out the whole house, that's another.
What if you had like a bed and breakfast, Joe?
That would be commercial.
Well, a bed and breakfast would be very similar to an Airbnb as far as taxation because it's commercial. And if you're renting out half of your house and the other half is where you live, then you run into complications from appraisals and things like that. And there's appellate processes that's within the property assessment office to work out those values. But the bottom line is you go from a residential assessment to a commercial assessment based on use.
I would think, and I don't know this for a fact, that if a residence here in town, it is their primary, and it also is used for Airbnb, if they have an issue, then come to us and we can help them work through that as, so it would just continue to be residential, not commercial. I would think, I don't know that for a fact, because we're still really new to this. Really new. Really, yes, ma'am.
Do you know what the current appraisal, so what is the tax on like, the property tax on a residential?
I think it's 25%, is that
So you're
right?
talking 40% for an Airbnb?
Yeah, so it'd be 15% increase. So
Are you not wanting people to have Airbnbs here, or is it?
No, that is not us. That is, we don't have anything to do with that. That would be the county and the state.
So that would be a 60% increase in your taxes,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
going from 25% appraisal to up to 40.
Correct. Yeah.
I would
Again,
think that would discourage people who have an Airbnb to
yeah, but again,
continue running it.
and I understand, and it's not the city of Oliver Springs. Like, we're not the ones that's county and state. That's not regulated by us. We don't set that other than the permitting to get, to set up as an Airbnb so we can try to capture sales tax revenue or occupancy tax revenue, sorry, not sales tax, but we have nothing to do with the tax rate that the county or the state mandates. So,
But you're electing to try to make that change here inside Oliver Springs, downtown Proctorville. Right? Because now you're not doing that, but you would like to do it. And that initiative is coming from you guys?
no.
I think that comes from the county. That's why I was going to check on that before I answer.
Right.
If you're running a business downtown, you're paying commercial property tax.
Correct.
If you're running a business uptown, where it be an Airbnb or what, you're making money, just like a business downtown. So it should be taxed. It's not fair not to not tax them and not have people down here like Becky and them operating the business and being taxed for the same thing because they're making money.
Right.
It's a business. Airbnb's a business. Just like a soda shop or service station or anything else, it's a business.
Right.
We pay a business tax,
Yeah.
as an Airbnb.
Yeah.
But the property tax value is a different thing.
Well, they do us the same way. Our property taxes save us high too.
Yeah.
It's not commercial, it's not residential, it's commercial.
So for you in the county, because I know you're outside city limits.
I'm just thinking, I'm jumping as if I was to buy something down here and I wanted to do something.
Right.
I'm just trying to feel out
I didn't
how
know.
it works.
I was just curious, is it, in the county, is it 40%? I mean,
No.
what is it?
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the rate is, But I already pay commercial.
Right.
I mean, it is commercial. My property is commercial.
But
I'm
I'm
just
saying,
saying
any
somebody-
Airbnb that you have, do you have any in the county?
No, it's commercial. It's already zoned commercial.
Okay.
I already pay commercial taxes.
No.
But if you have a house downtown here and you live in it, and once in a while you want to rent it on Airbnb, and you go out of town for a month, you go out of town for a couple of weeks and you want to rent an Airbnb, it just seems crazy that it really seems like it would make people shy away from even wanting to rent their house if they were going to be thrown into a completely different tax bracket on their property taxes.
I understand.
And then that then destroys the people visiting, wanting to stay downtown to bring commerce to the downtown businesses. So, you know,
Right quick, what you are talking about would be the percentage of use over a 365-day calendar year. And if you moved out one time and rented it one time, that probably would not make it a commercial venture. And see, this is how the appraisers, when they meet with you and evaluate this, you meet with them, you tell them how many days out of there that you rent it. And they may want to see documentation, because if you're getting $50,000 or $60,000 a year and you say you're renting once 1 month out of the year, then they might not honor your residential request. But see, you have to, you get down to nitty gritty, that's called an audit. And that's how they work through that.
yeah, I see it if you bought it and you were primarily just renting it out and that's all you were doing, you weren't living there and it wasn't your primary residence. I get it.
That's a question of fact that the appraisers have to determine. And if you disagree with their question of fact, then you have to appeal it to
Right.
the property assessors.
And that's what I would encourage people to do. I mean, literally, because again, we don't value property, we don't give appraisals, we don't set tax. We set the tax rate inside the city, but we don't set, for the county. Again, I would appeal it. That's what I would do. That's what I would ask people to do.
Because if you don't rent it all of the time, it would be classified as a primary rental property. Or you could just rent it out, it'd be residential.
But they're saying,
It's not a business.
they're saying if you use it as Airbnb, it's going to be considered commercial.
Yeah,
At the whole-
short-term rental, yeah.
Yeah.
Short term, less than 30 days.
Yes. Anything else? No. Yeah, we have talked to Rusty about this, and I think Corey is working on getting a hot box. Roane County Street Department is going to let us borrow theirs, and so we'll be working on it pretty shortly.
What was that mentioned? Payables?
We've got some huge ones that's opened up. That's everywhere.
Yeah. Roane County Road Department, Street Department is going to let us borrow their hot box and make pothole repair maybe more streamlined process.
Be a week.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Bass?
Corey, are we still getting prisoners for labor? We do, yes. Are we utilizing them like with the cleanup of some of the ditches and shrubbery growing across the bushes and all that we can't get to the side or more, that we need to cut back before springtime gets here, kind of keep it beat off?
So a lot of what your inmate labor is, like your weed eating, mowing of right of ways. So short answer, yeah, that if there's a certain area we need to look at, then yeah, let's definitely do that. But, I mean, to answer your question, yes.
I mean, I've seen there's some places in town that could probably use it that we may not be going to.
If you'll make a note of those and then give them to me or give them to Corey, and we'll make
I'll
sure
get
they
with
get
you
it
on
back.
that. Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Bass?
That's all that.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Van Hook?
Yeah, just in addition to talking about beginning the budget process in March, I just wanted to remind you guys to come up with your capital project ideas, because we'll need to know, we'll need to sort that out.
Yes.
And we got a good one too, so,
Okay.
yeah. All right, thank you, Ms. Van Hook. Mr. Holland?
Corey, I know some of the small business, I know on our waste contract, they kind of wanted all of us to put our garbage in cans. There's some small business, I see like 10 to 15 disc bags thrown out in front. Is that something that
So,
contractor could provide them people, so it's not,
yeah, so once we rebid the contract, or rebid the waste pickup, the Waste Connections is kind of been going back to their contract, kind of to a T.
you know,
So the contract plainly says it's for like residential only. So they're actually going through and kind of doing an audit of, I guess, of their pickup. And in the past, they've picked up businesses. So they're currently going through that. And we're having to contact those businesses, which they are as well, that garbage pickup provided by the town is strictly for residential houses only. And the mayor's been in touch with,
Josh.
I guess, Josh Metcalf, the Waste Connection. I think he's the regional manager. Kind of been an ongoing conversation about this for probably the past couple of months.
It has, and so, again, you're allowed up to 3 cans. Your trash is supposed to be in the can, which, and like today, I saw multiple places I passed by that wasn't in a can, but it got picked up. And, you know, and I've spoken with Josh about that, and they're very gracious about continuing that. But to piggyback on what Corey said about a business being run out of a residential, so what we're discussing with Mr. Metcalf is up to 5 cans, and it'd be like a $20 or $25 a month fee versus, I think it's like $11.50.
It's $11 right now.
That's $11. So, you know, and we have, you know, not many, but we do have a few that, you know, need up to 5 cans because they do run a business out of their house. And so.
So we're waiting to get a quote back from Waste Connections.
Yes.
we need to help ourselves, like at 1 or 2 strip malls, they do 5 businesses, but they're all just piled in one giant pile instead of making it look neater.
Yeah.
And just us as individuals, if we could keep our mess kind of, I mean, if I got too much, I'll run out there and throw it in there for him just to keep him from getting tore up bad.
Yeah.
That was one of the big things they said, that, you know, all the garbage had to be in a bag.
Yes, yes.
And they, within reason, I mean, if there's one bag set beside the can, I mean, they'll pick it up. But they're kind of tightening their controls.
They are.
Because it's getting warm and the skunk invasion is coming.
Oh, it is.
Beautification is kind of the same thing. We could all step out ourselves by cleaning up your place. You know, if you think you need help, I think you could call down here. We could find somebody willing to help you out or something.
Need a project for our beautification committee.
For sure. Right.
When we get one.
In the last, we're gonna be in trouble if you don't mention that, maybe Carmichael.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
You want to do that?
Oh, yes.
Amy Carmichael this Sunday at the DAV from, I think it's 12 to 3. The Soul Food, I believe
Soul
it's
Food Sunday.
Soul Food Sunday, $25 a plate.
Yeah, if you can find Julia Daniel or Reverend Benjamin, I think tickets are $25.
Yeah. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah.
I would have been. Anything else, sir? Thank you. Ms. Devaney?
No, other than, can the city do anything with the skunk invasion that we're having in
Oh,
some areas?
it's bad.
It's breeding season, you can't do nothing about it.
You can't do, just can't be.
I hate to put it like that, that's the truth.
There you go. All right, thank you. All right, Captain Owens, you going to give us an update, please?
Singing up your best.
So I want to update I have for you guys. Chief wanted to make you aware of his absence. He's in Nashville at the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police Executive Leadership in Service, which is held quarterly throughout the year for his continuing education training. Outside of that, no other updates.
Thank you, sir.
Did your MOU go good with Harriman and all that?
We're still waiting to hear back from Chief Tapp. I think they were going to present theirs this week, possibly next week, I think he said. But he said there shouldn't be any issues.
Thanks. Thank you. Yes.
Did I hear that right? Was the renegotiation for the trash just for residents, the 5 cans and the 25? That wasn't for all residents, right? That was just
That's correct.
just like a thing
But, I
for
mean,
businesses?
just for, well, residential businesses, like,
And that $25 wasn't set. They're supposed to be getting us a quote put together.
Yes.
It's not for the rest of the,
No.
No.
it's just part of the contract for businesses.
yes,
They don't currently have like these dumpsters, right?
no,
Okay.
no, that is correct. Correct. All right, Chief Bailey is not here. Any old business? New business? Discuss wage adjustment.
I got this put together late. The one I had was for Wendy, and this is our administrative assistant. I went ahead and printed it out, if you'll pass those along. That would be like her, the job description, and the red text is the added duties. So administrative assistant job description, the added duties, is what I won't say dumped on Wendy, but asked her to pick up, and she gracefully has and has done a phenomenal job with this. She picked up human resource duties, she's an employee benefits administrator, she handles the workers' comp claims, she's the new employee orientation, keeps up your employee files, she's handling the new employee training and professional development, and then all the labor law compliance. As of January the 1st, 2025, she's our State of Tennessee Health Insurance Employees Representative. And then I've added the assisting city manager with payroll duties, assisting city manager with grant funding and documentation. When we shut down the police dispatch, all of the police department calls during the day, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30 do come to Wendy now. Then also, she signed up with it's a TAP program through TAUD. It's an administrative professional certification. She's also handling the purchasing for the water and city, and responsible for implementing and maintaining our new purchasing policy, mainly our new purchase orders and the cost code. So what you have is kind of our internal employee action forms. So these are the one things, anytime there's any type of new hire, salary change, position change, even her terminations, there's one of these files filled out and put in the employee file. So you have kind of her turnaround, what our recommendation is to change those two.
And from my perspective, Wendy is incredible at her job. She really is. Like, when I say she's an asset to our town, she's an asset. And, you know, she unfortunately doesn't know the word no. When you ask her to do something, she'll take that bull by the horns, regardless of what it is. And she does it with professionalism, every time I've ever asked. And I appreciate that, Wendy. So I just want to publicly say thank you. And, and she'll tell you, I don't ask things every day, do I? No, maybe once a week. But, she, and I'll say this, just from a mayor's perspective, and she doesn't know I'm about to say this, nobody does. It's good to know that we have people in our town like Wendy, that you don't have to look over her shoulder every day. You don't have to micromanage her. You give her a task, the task is done. It's completed. And, now that Deborah is in the position she's in, I feel the exact same way. I feel the exact same way with Jessica. You can rest easy knowing that those positions are well taken care of. And we need to do our due diligence in making sure that they are well compensated and know that we appreciate what they bring to the table every day. So, my 2 cents. Sorry I digressed, but Corey.
No, that's it. If there's any question about from a budgeting standpoint, you have money built in, your cushions are usually in your overtime, you have training money built into budgets. So the affordability is there. That's another reason you wait till really after, the way ours is after your first year, you're 6 months into the year, that way you kind of reassess where you are financially. And again, that's why I recommend we go ahead and do this at this point.
So we have somebody who wants to make a motion. Or do we want to discuss it?
I make the motion.
Mr. Bass makes a motion,
I will second.
second by Mr. Bain. Discussion?
Does this retro back to anything or is it effective today?
Effective February the 6th.
Any further discussion? Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Teresa Van Hook,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Becky Dwayne,
Yes.
passed.
Thank you, council. Discuss shop building invoice payment.
Just like we done to the Waterboard, we decided to pay for the new shop building at the garage. Again, it's $125,960, of which will be split 70% paid from the water fund, 30% paid from the general fund, of which the general fund amount would be $37,788. That would be paid straight from your general fund.
I'll make the motion. We take the 70/30 and pay the invoice, pay it in full. You get us out from underneath.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll say.
Second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? Roll call, Joe.
Robert Miller,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Bass,
Yes.
Teresa Van Hook,
Yes.
Terry Holland,
Yes.
Becky Dwayne,
Yes.
passed.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, council. Corey, do we have anything else before we? We do not. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Or to schedule an appointment, contact TNT Business Brokers at 251-390-0001 or go online, dynamitebrokers.com.
All right, rocking back in with a little bit of Wall of Voodoo. Do you remember that song? I do not. I'm on a Mexican radio, so I don't know. I'm just going to leave that hanging out there with the ubiquitous comment that could be made associated with the same. But, it is kind of funny, we're talking about that, but, transitioning, and we're going to talk a little bit about, the collision alarms and things of that nature. The flight that was headed back to Mexico that crashed in Philadelphia, and what I don't know, listeners, if you're aware of this, and it is near and dear to my heart. I have done legal work pro bono, which means effectively at no charge as a public service for our local Shriners and Shriners hospitals, and done my best to assist them with my legal knowledge and skill for a number of years. But that was a medical flight that had been chartered by Shriners, and that child had been flown up from Mexico to receive medical treatment at a facility here at no charge to his parents, and certainly no charge to him in the United States. And then this tragedy happens and unfolds. So I know that, at least from the impact crater and everything of that nature, and we talked a little bit about this Lear. I mean, it was not just a gradual, there was no glide slope, so to speak. It fell like a rock. And I know that that's sort of being investigated. But, those men and women, I know that Shriners Hospital's budget's over $2 million a day that is spent on those children. And so I can't say enough about the men and women of the Shrine, I being one. But just a fantastic organization. But, have you had any analyses or thoughts relative to that unfortunate Lear situation?
Well, I've studied that a bit, and our hearts go out to the families of those 6 that in that second tragedy. But, I was watching an interview with a fellow who investigates these accidents, and he's noted that this was a Mexican-based Learjet, and he said he'd only seen one other that had basically fallen from the sky like this in this fashion. And it was a U.S.-based aircraft, but it had been staying down in, or U.S. registered, but had been staying down in Mexico, and that's where the maintenance had been. He had investigated the maintenance logs and was shocked by them. So all he did was raise the question with, the understanding that he doesn't know, I certainly don't know, what the maintenance will show or what the reasoning was. But that raised that question. But he opined that perhaps it had been just a catastrophic engine failure of one of the engines.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, being a private pilot yourself and a private plane owner, we talk about maintenance on planes and things of that nature and the need for them to be certified as airworthy. Explain a little bit, from the private pilot's perspective and the aircraft owners, what all that involves. We talk about annuals and flight hours on the airframe and on the motor, everything of that nature. Obviously, safety is key, and, it's not a situation where, anybody can work on it. You can't go to a shade tree mechanic. It's got to be done right.
Sure, the list of things you can do on your own aircraft is fortunately fairly short. You can change the oil, do some things like that, but you have to have your aircraft. Now, if you get into aircraft using training or commercial aircraft, you get into different requirements. But for a